Welcome to another episode of the Stag Fleet Podcast. Today, we had the opportunity to talk with the two-time world champion, Will Polly, and it's definitely a must-watch. We hope you enjoy. All right, so what's up, Will? How's it going?
Doing good. Just finished up with work for the day and looking forward to talking about stacking. And any interview I've ever done in the past has just been with people that don't stack or didn't even know what stacking was before talking with me. So it's fun not to have to worry about watering anything down and just getting into the nitty gritty. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so I guess starting this off, we've heard from Will and I guess a few other people about your recent hand injury. So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'll try not to spend too much time on it, but essentially I broke my hand skating at the very end of December. It was like the day before New Year's Eve. And like I've broken bones before, it's been a while, so it kind of just spooked up on me. But I got x-rays and it was like a clean break on my metacarpal, which is if you look at your hand, it's this bone right here.
Oh my
So I
gosh.
fractured it clean in half, and then I was put in a splint for 2 weeks. Went back for X-rays, and they came back worse. But they told me we're gonna put you in a cast for a month, and you should heal fine. And then when I got out of the cast, my finger was like completely crooked. I have like a photo of it. There, it's not graphic at all, but it's just a representation of like what it was looking like. So my hand was like,
Oh my
my finger is
gosh.
just to the side
Wow.
there. So they were like, okay, you need to get surgery now. And at this point, I'd been like a month and a half through the injury, and I was thinking a lot about Worlds, and I'd already signed up for it. And the long-term recovery was 8 to 12 weeks, and Worlds was 10 weeks from that surgery. So I got the surgery done,
Yikes.
and they put like the scars here. They put a plate like that big in my hand, and then they put 3 screws here, 3 screws there. So
Oh my gosh.
it was a pretty like I've never had like a big surgery done, and it was pretty painful like the week after that. And then I just did a lot of work trying to like regain my range of motion, and I was just nervous that I wasn't going to be able to stack for Switzerland, but I just like really put an emphasis to like get back to normal as quickly as possible. And I got like a 2 weeks out of surgery because I was just like drilling my like PT and whatnot. So that's basically the rundown of what all happened. It's been like this whole year has just been pretty slow with everything, but um yeah, I don't know. Stacking's a little painful still, but by the time Worlds comes up, I should be like 100%. So, but that's why I haven't gone to any tournaments, missed out on a lot, but luckily I got to go to that Chicago tournament this past weekend, which I didn't think I'd be able to go to at all. So, glad I got something under my belt before going to Europe. So,
Yeah, that's crazy.
yeah.
So, uh, so obviously, as you said, you were at the Chicago tournament. Unfortunately, we couldn't go even though we live like 30 minutes away. But uh, do you think that you place a lot of value on competing before bigger events like Worlds?
Yeah, definitely. Like it goes into like how I prepare for world championships. Like I'll do simulations and we can get into that a little later, but when I'm doing my simulations, like I'll go tournament by tournament up to marquees. So if it's like December or January, I can do like 5 tournament simulations because I'm going to 5 different tournaments and the fifth one being worlds. But I've never been in the situation where like I potentially don't have a single tournament to go to before worlds. So and like as I'm getting a little bit older, like the way I practice has just changed. But I think it is still, regardless of whether it's 2012 or 2025, like I still value getting to compete right before a tournament. It's just the most recent thing that I can recall, like feeling those emotions and like feel like learning how to control nerves. It's nice to be able to do that before a marquee, just to kind of get that refresher. So.
Yeah, definitely. How would you say your thoughts are on your performance at the tournament the other day?
I feel like I feel like I did bad, but that's only just because like I failed cycle. But like when I look at it, like I didn't even think I'd be at the level I'm at right now, right before Worlds, considering the surgery I had. So like I was bummed like initially, but then like it just kind of hit me like I shouldn't even be here right now. I should be like at home not being able to do anything. So I'm thrilled I even got to go, but I did scratch like a fast 333 and 363, and like I kind of reset all my records. Like I have like my four pad or my two pad, my four pad, and then like my new records since like, I got metal put in my hand. But like I know those times are gonna get faster before Worlds. So like knowing that I can still like get close time, like times that are close to my top speed, like in finals was like all I needed to know. Just cycle was kind of a bummer, but I feel like not considering cycle, I did well. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's impressive after all of that.
yeah, very lucky for sure.
So, do you have any other plans to compete before Worlds?
Right now, I don't really have any opportunities to. There's like a tournament in California on the 12th, and my sister lives in California, and she's like an hour and a half from that tournament.
Oh,
But just getting there and then getting to the tournament and back and flying back to the East Coast is just like a lot. And I'm sure it's expensive. I haven't even looked, but it's also like the week before I start getting ready to go to Switzerland, like that following Monday or whatever. So that's kind of like my only chance, and I don't think I'm going to take it. I think I'm just going to lay low for a little bit and keep recovering. So.
yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Yeah. Um, then looking at Worlds, I guess, in Switzerland, um, what would you say your goals are? Obviously, they've probably changed a lot recently, but what would you say you're looking to do there?
Yeah, I just want to do well. I think setting goals, like Tyler Cole said something in Stacker, like setting goals is a complete jinx. And I think that's entirely true. I think if I were to be like, I'm gonna get this, like I want to get like these times and these stacks, like I'm just going to be disappointed because there's no way that I can just call it and achieve that. So I just want to do well. I think that's kind of the best answer I could give to that. And I know I can do well as long as I just kind of stick to how I practice and how I prepare mentally for it. So we'll see. I do hope to do well in like in the team events too. Like me and Dalton, like we'll have a lot of time to practice, and we did well in juniors last year. So I think with marquee experience, we'll be able to do well, and hopefully make up for how we did last year at Worlds. And relay is exciting. We just got our teams yesterday, so I think
Yeah,
we'll do
I
great.
saw that.
Yeah.
Or I saw. So you're with Will Allen, Tyler Hollis, Dalton, and Seamus, right?
Yeah, that's we were hoping for like that or just something close to that. And like, like we all just kind of like wait to hear what Lisa picks. So it's nice that she like picked something that we were all hoping for. And I have high hopes for that team. I think it'll go well.
Yeah, that's a pretty loaded team. So very exciting. I'm excited to see what the international challenge team is too, because that's like for it being in
Yeah,
Europe.
yeah, like I really don't know what it's gonna be. Like I wouldn't blame Lisa if she didn't pick me just because everyone's had such a killer season and like I haven't done well in cycle and I think she really looks at people's cycles. But if I'm not on that team, like I just kind of hope I can act as like a coach for the team, like be there for all the runs and just, be the towel guy and the one to kind of like get people out of those nerves because I've just done it so many times that like I've just experienced a lot through International Challenge, and it's a privilege that I've gotten to do it so many times. But yeah, I don't know, like if it goes how it did last year, it's not going to be our relay team. It's going to be like a slightly different team. So we'll see what she picks. I think April 1st is the cutoff for registration. And I think we're waiting. She's waiting to hear back from other registered stackers. So we'll see. Hopefully within a week we'll have an answer for that.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. I'm gonna go back a little bit to this weekend's tournament and kind of looking towards Worlds. You saw a lot of guys stacking really fast, like Will getting his 516, Peter getting his 519 scratch, Tyler, obviously he's not going, but he got a 528, I think. Do you think that gives you confidence, like just looking at your other Team USA teammates, and just do you think that'll help you stack better come Worlds?
Yeah, good question. Like I get thrilled whenever I see anyone like pushing the envelope for themselves. And like when Peter got the 519, like he was just like utterly shocked at himself for doing that. But like I look at Peter and it's like you can get fours at home. Like, like you're capable of this. Like don't think you're not. And like I told him that. I told him afterwards, like like that's your speed now. Like you can do that, but like you also can you can go so much faster. It's up to you, you know. So like seeing people and like seeing Will's 516, it just gets me hyped. Like I just know that like people are like really trying and like, you know they're not playing it safe. Like I used to play it safe in SOC. Like if you look at like random Connecticut SOCs, like I'm going safe in cycle. Like it's just stupid. So like I'm thrilled to see people like not worrying about that and then just seizing the opportunity that they have. It definitely gets me fired up. So
Absolutely, yeah. Looking at some of those like really pushing it times, like um, obviously you guys had the 1183 relay scratch. What are your thoughts on breaking 12 finally? And do you think that's gonna happen in the near future?
yeah, I think it's just bound to happen eventually. Like I really compare it to like Stevens 593 because like when I started stacking, that was the record, but like it wasn't like people just had no idea when that was going to happen. I think it's exactly the same. I feel the exact same way as I did about cycle then that I do relay now. So many people, like you could make so many relay teams. You could probably make, I could easily think of five right now that could get a sub 12. But team events come with so many variables and it's just really hard to predict. Like with cycle, an individual stack, there's less variation in terms of performance and outcome. But with, you know, everyone's got to be on point. No one can fumble. Everyone's got to be feeling good. Like no one can be nervous. Like everyone just has to be confident and like only think about themselves and their own stacking. So I think it's just got to take the right team, and I think we have the right team, but it's more than that. It's just the mental preparation and being able to lock in and do it. I think it could happen at Worlds. Like we haven't seen a relay world record at Worlds since I think 2015. But like when we got that, like it was kind of easy because we were just firing world records at that point in time. It was just we just knew how to do it, and I think we just need to learn how to do it again. But I think it's entirely possible for sure.
Yeah, that would be so exciting to see happen.
Yeah, hopefully it does.
Yep.
Yeah. So, looking back all that time, you've been stacking pretty much longer than most people still in the stacking scene currently. Um, what keeps you stacking? And like, obviously you've taken breaks. What keeps bringing you back?
Yeah, I think an answer to both those questions is just the friends that I have and like I've known some people like for like 15 years. Like I there's not many things like when I was like 8 and 9, like when I got into stacking, like I played like recreational soccer, like basketball leagues, like I wasn't really skating yet. So like I don't have people like I have like neighborhood friends, but like I don't have people that I'm still close with now that did that because it was just recreational soccer. Like we all went to middle school and high school and college, like you know, but like stacking, like we're all just you know random individuals that share like a really niche thing that like we all experience backlash on. We all like make sacrifices to do it, and you know like it's just there's too many commonalities with these people that like I couldn't ever stop and like I've the times that I've like left and came back were because like I just realized the importance of that and like tap back into those people and like rekindled those relationships and like watching like old stacking videos like when I came back in 2018 I just had the opportunity to run a tournament through a school project as a senior in high school and like what really got me juiced on that was just watching like old Lawrence videos, like old Speed Stack and Girl videos, like stuff that like got me so fired up, like as like a 9 year old, 10 year old. But it like the feeling doesn't go away. Like I watch like classic world records and like I still get like that same feeling of this is like so important to this person. Like this person will never forget that. And like I'm blessed to be able to relate to those feelings. Sorry, my cat is moving around up there but it's something that like I can't just leave and like I've you know like I skateboard and like make videos from time to time like I do other things and work a lot but it's always brought me back just the friends I have and it's I get to travel to these tournaments and like set goals as like a bonus like I get to see all these people that I'm friends with and like hang out even if it's just for like 30 hours or like 36 hours but I can still like go and like lock in and be like, okay, I want this outcome at this tournament. Like I want to set these goals and achieve them. So it's just kind of like a win. Like it's always a win-win for me. I get to see people and compete and set goals. It's just something, it's always brought me back. So.
Yeah, very, absolutely a one of a kind community for sure.
And one thing I want to add is it's just interesting how long a lot of us have stuck around. Like in 2012, I was thinking about this, like I'd only been stacking for 3 years at Worlds, but most of us only had been stacking for like 5 or 6 years at most. Like you have like your Jonathan Scannell or like your Daniel Klein, those outliers that have been stacking since like 2006. But now all of us have been stacking. I know you guys are a little newer into it, but like it's not uncommon for people to have been stacking since 2015. To me, that's like yesterday, but to other people, that's like, 10 years ago. So it's cool that like so many of us are still like, I feel like our generation, I'm including you when I say that, like we all have just kind of stuck around. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I would have thought if like Malcolm Richardson was at my first tournament and he was like a big
Wow.
name, but like that was like such an OG stacker, but he had only been stacking for like 5 years when I met him. Like so many people have been stacking for so much longer than 5 years. So it's just I don't know, like stacking's really like kept people in the past like 10 years. I think social media has had a big factor in that and just people really like getting close knit and connected. It's just really kept a lot of people around. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, that is insane to put into perspective. Also talking about like 5 years, that's a pretty close number to how long Gen 5 has been out for because we just hit like 4 years, I think last month it was. So, what would you say? Like, have your opinions on it like changed at all over time?
Yeah, I don't even use two pad. I should because I want to stay in top 10. I think I'm 10th and I haven't beaten my 333 in like 7 years or something and I know I could. But I just like I kind of quit for a little bit when G5 dropped. I'm not gonna lie. Like COVID happened too and so like I was already kind of in my own track of mind figuring out what I'm gonna do. I just started college and I had to move back home. So it was just kind of like a interesting time anyway. So it wasn't the worst to not be stacking, but and no tournaments were going on. But yeah, I was like heavily against it for a long time. Um, like we were kind of explained, I'm not going to go too into detail, but we were explained what they wanted to do and wanted our input. We gave our input and then they said, "Well, we've already made our decision." So like that was like really to me that was really disrespectful and I just was like, "Well, you know what? Like I'm gonna like let things kind of like evolve a little bit with G5 and I eventually got the timer like in 2022, maybe 2023, and it just took a long time to get used to. I think it took everyone a long time to get used to, but like now I don't even think about it. I like sometimes I miss the timer, but also like sometimes I'd miss the timer on two pad. Like that was rare, but like that just sometimes things just happen. So like that's how I look at it now. I'm totally accustomed to it and it's I don't know, like getting a 1 in 363 is so hard. Like that's like the one thing that like is still a struggle with me on a four pad. But yeah, I've just put the work in that was required to like get to where I'm at now and I'm pretty supportive of it, honestly. Like it's I watch like 2019 Worlds, like everyone's getting scratched. Like I think people's stops, like when I look back, I think people's stops could have changed if they would explain what was wrong, but then they wouldn't show examples of what was right. And I think that was like their biggest fault and like why they had to make such a dramatic change, what caused a lot of backlash on them. It was like there was a right way to stop that timer, but not a lot of people like really knew how to do it, I think. So after all that being said, like they did make their decision. I think a lot of people quit because of that, like including myself, but like eventually a lot of people came around and when you kind of have no choice, it's like how stubborn do you want to stay? I've just gotten used to it and I think it's all right. I think the sensors are bad, like everyone's putting their timers in bags and putting tape over their timers. That's like not good. I think if I were working there, I would be like, okay, well maybe we should at least address that issue, but other than that, it's fine. So
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. it's crazy that it's been 4 years, but you saying that your 333 record from was from 7 years ago, that hits crazy. It's like that's 2018. Does not feel like that was 7 years ago.
I mean, like that's how I feel. I just don't want to sound like a 40. Like I just don't want to sound like super old when I say that, but like it's just like time just keeps going and like eventually you'll end up being 15 years into stacking and it's gonna trip you out. So that's basically where I'm coming from with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, so obviously talking about records, what do you think is like if you were to go back to two ped, what would be the hardest one for you to beat?
363. I've never even scratched like a 1.6. That was like the best 363 I ever stacked, and it was a 1.6. And I've never really been good at 363. Like once I reached a certain point, I just like stopped being super like that just became like a pretty weak point in like my three events. But I also don't know if I could beat my cycle. Like I like took me forever to like beat 486 and then I got 480 and then 474 and then 460. Like I just kept jumping really, really fast. And then when I got the 466, I was just like, okay, that has to be the end for me. Like, because I think like fast on the web was like, I guess it hasn't really changed much at all, but it was pretty close to it. And I really didn't see myself getting a 4.5. Maybe I could have gotten like a at that point, maybe I could have gone like a 463 or like something a little faster, but I was like blown away that I had a 4.6 and didn't really care to try and beat that again. I think I did try to beat that a couple times, but um I don't know. I think 363 for sure. 333, I like know I could beat that because I like drilled it four pad and got a 1.3. And then I don't know if it was Liam Vandery or like a different guy, but like one of them got like a 128 on a two pad.
Oh, that was Adam Turner. Yeah.
Adam Turner, yeah, sorry. Yeah, shout out Adam Turner. Yeah, he got that. And like that just proves that like if you drilled it hard enough on four pad, like you can go back to two pad and like it's still gonna take some work. Like I know he worked for that. That wasn't like he woke up that day and got it in 5 minutes, but it proves that like if you drill it hard enough, you can get it in like so I think that's once my hands like fully recovered, I am gonna try to I don't know if I'll get a 1.2. I just want to improve it and that's all I'll go for pretty much.
Yeah, that would be insane. 1.2 sound just so fast.
Yeah, I've gone a 130 scratch, 1300 scratch
Oh,
on a stack station, and like two threes fell because the stack station, like all
oh
that,
my gosh.
No way.
that was like 20 18, I think, or 2019, 2018, 2019. But yeah, that's the only time I scratched under 132.6 was 130 flat. So I think I could do it. That
Wow.
was I should have just done it that night. So,
Yep. Yeah, hopefully that can go down soon. Once your hands back to normal.
yeah, should once I've been told that like once it's May, I should be like 100% again. So I'll still be kind of, what my surgeons told me, like I should still be kind of recovering once Worlds is happening. But at that, like right now, I feel fine. Like I can get like fives and whatnot, so I'm not super concerned. It's just I just it takes me a long time to warm up, and I get fatigued really quickly. So I can't stack a lot. So like the way I have to prepare for Worlds is going to be like adjusted quite a bit, but I'll be able to make it work.
Yeah.
So before tournaments, do you normally do a lot of comp trainings, more fast stuff? Like for your normal routine, like what would it normally be?
Yeah, so like when I was a kid, I would just stack for like 30 hours a week, and then like on the tournament day, I would stack for like 12 hours. Like it just I didn't have like any rhyme or rhythm to like how I prepared. I just like did well. But like 2013, 14, 15, I started doing poorly at Marquise, and like I would try to adopt all these things, like bringing a water bottle and a towel up to the table, or like doing certain practices at home. Like it just nothing really stuck. So then when I came back like 3 years after not stacking, that was like my biggest focus was like how am I gonna handle myself like in tournament now? Like I have to figure this out. So I just do simulating, and like essentially what that means for me is like I create a tournament right in front of my table. Like I take all of my past experiences of competing and just in my mind create the tournament. I create the judge in front of me. I create the venue that I've never seen before, and I factor in things like language barrier. I've experienced that, like judges not knowing the rules. I don't blame them for that. Like there's just things that would kind of like inhibit my performance, and it wouldn't have mattered how much I practiced. Like I've just had these moments at marquees where like I practiced so much, and then like the smallest external thing would mess me up, and that was it. It didn't matter how much I practiced. So my focus really adjusted to I'm just going to prepare mentally for these tournaments, and like preparing for Spain. I just did it so much that like when I would do these simulations, I would sweat. Like I would get nervous. I would like feel just as nervous in my basement as I did in a tournament, and then eventually just got easier for me. And then when I went to Spain, I was just probably the most prepared for any tournament I've ever been for. So I kind of take that into consideration now, especially now that I can't stack that much. I just mentally prepare. So I do a lot of comp trainings. I don't aimlessly do cycles or 3-3s or 3-6-3s. I get frustrated that way because I just fumble a lot. But when you simulate, it matters a lot. It matters because you're doing your prelims and finals, and you just have to do well because you only have 3 tries. So I don't go for fours. I don't really do that. Like I just go for them when I'm simulating because that's the only time it matters anyway to me. So it's just I'll probably do like 5 or 6 in a session, and then I'm done stacking. So I'll probably be like 15 minutes warming up, and then like, 20 to 30 minutes of just like playing pretend basically. And then I'm pretty much over it at that point because I'll be like content with my results. And if I'm not, I just keep going. Or if I just don't feel like it's a good stacking day, I just stop. But I really only stack, for as much as I need. I feel like if I stack more, it's just going to build more pressure on myself to not fail. And like, I don't want that. I'd rather be less prepared physically and more prepared mentally because, like if we were to collectively count all the cycles we've done, it would be like easily in the millions. Like we don't need to do, or at least for me, like I don't need to get 5 4s the day before Worlds. It's just that's not important to me. I feel like that's like counterintuitive to prepare for a marquee, in my opinion, but it's different for everyone.
Yeah. Um, I guess talking more about worlds. So your preparation's obviously gonna be super different. Do you think like and how you said you can't really practice for that long at the tournament? Do you think you're gonna like spend a lot of time not stacking, or do you think it's by then you're gonna be back to full form?
I think I'll be doing a lot of team event stacking. Like I want to do a lot of doubles with Dalton, like Jacob Choi and William Morel getting like a 508 scratch. It just makes me want to do doubles. So and then that's my left hand, so I don't have to worry. So I'll
Oh
just be
yeah.
probably doing a lot of team events, and I'll stack when I have to, and I'll make sure I'm like adequately prepared for individual events. But yeah, just a lot of team events is what I see happening.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun, especially with all the international stackers there too.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, watching Williams streams with Jacob are just unbelievable. Like, I just don't understand how they're that good at doubles.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, like we watched some of those streams like while we were at the Chicago tournament, and it was just like mind blowing. Like they have William Morel's style, but they're a doubles pair. It's just like he can just be his left arm. It's really remarkable to watch, honestly.
Yeah, totally. Watching their best was 533. That was just like insane. Thinking about how uh, Ian and Will 527, like how they're the second fastest in the world in that is just unreal. And how a couple of
Yeah.
years ago it was like you and Dalton had the was it 547 or
I think it was 546.
yeah.
And like when William and when both Williams got the 537, it was just us four in that room, like me, Dalton, and then them two. And Dalton was upset. I was a little upset, but it was also like, all right, we had fast on the web for like 5 years, and then we got like an all time with G5. So like they can have it, but it just kept going. Like we got a 522 scratch that night, Like we like went for it after them to try to like beat them, but we couldn't do it. But I think me and Dalton do have a shot, but I don't know if they're still doing doubles. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But like Jacob Choi and William Morel, but they'll probably just get some unbelievably like a 513, and then it's like, okay, well, we can maybe get a 5.2, but we'll just have to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah. Do you think a four in doubles is ever possible?
Yeah, definitely. Like I already kind of thought it was, and then I heard they got 508 scratch, and I was like, all right, well, it's gonna happen. I don't think it'll happen for like maybe a year, but I don't think we'll see a lot of pairs getting fours once we get the one. Like I think it'll be like one pair gets it, and then it's kind of it for a while. But that's just my prediction.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That would be insane.
Yeah, I want to see it. I just want to see it and I want to listen to it, and it's gonna be cool to see when it does happen.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe at Worlds we'll see.
Yeah, I think Ian and Will got a good shot at it. I mean, that was one day of doing doubles. They got fast on the web, so
Yeah.
if they put some time into it. I think they could do it.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I think okay, so there's 3 minutes left in the call, so I think this will be the last question, Joe, unless you have anything else you want to ask.
I don't have any other than the last question.
Yeah, all
But
right. So, um, we've asked all six of the guests so far, or I guess seven guests of the podcast so far. Um, what is your like absolute best advice for other stackers uh, that are attending Worlds, watching this, like to get prepared? What would you say to them?
Yeah, just know that while you are doing your finals, everyone is just as nervous as you are. It doesn't matter like who it is. It could be Ian or it could be like someone's first worlds. Everyone is doing it at the exact same time. So like that thought has like snapped me out of it. It's like snapped me out of like the thoughts of like I'm so nervous. Like I gotta go up like now. Like just find comfort in knowing that like you are not alone in like the nerves that you're going through, and just kind of like find the white noise in that. Like I like when I'm competing, like I just picture myself in like a white room that's like endless. It's like it goes on for like infinity. Like I block everything out. But I feel like the way I'm able to do that is because I know that everyone else has to deal with their own pressures and their own nerves. So just find some comfort in knowing that you're not like just knowing that you're not alone in anything in life will like really help in a lot of different ways. So just know you're not alone when you're doing your finals. Like everyone else is doing their finals and like everyone else traveled to get there and like has practiced a lot. So just find comfort in knowing that like you're not the only one doing what you're doing. But also just we've never had a Worlds in Switzerland. This is going to be awesome. It's going to be expensive, but it's going to be awesome. And it's ran by people that like truly care about stackers, and they're for stackers, and Yannick's awesome. And I think like he's like, it's just going to be awesome. I'm super excited. But yeah, just find comfort in knowing that everyone else is nervous, and you're not alone. So just know that and you'll do great. So
Definitely, yeah. I'm sure
really cool.
a lot of stackers would appreciate to hear that. So, I guess that's it. Thank you so much, Will, for coming on here.
Yeah, thank you.
We're glad we found a time to talk, and best of luck at Worlds. We're gonna be rooting for you from here, and hopefully able to watch you from a live stream.
awesome. Well, great. Yeah. Thanks so much.
Yep. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the podcast, and make sure to subscribe with notifications on so you don't miss the next ones, dropping every Thursday leading up to the World Sports Stacking Championships.